let's continue to take a look at J.A.C. Hayford's Bible Handbook, specifically the section about the principles of seed faith by Oral Roberts. If we come down here to section 1, the principle of the seed, the law of seed time and harvest, we're going to go to Genesis and we're going to take a look at that. He points to Genesis 8:22, and then he says, so let's take a look at this really quick here. Do you notice here that they end up skipping over a ton of different sections? So if we come down here to 22, as long as the earth endures, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night will not cease. Seed time and harvest, ... pass over all that other stuff. Day and night will not cease. So he is, Oral Roberts is passing over cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night, because he wants to tie you into giving money to his ministry. He wants to tie you in to planting a seed as a principle of giving money to certain leaders so that you can get your harvest back. But this is not a promise of financial blessing. This is a promise that God will protect humanity even from itself. So if we come here, the section starts in Genesis chapter 6. And Yahweh saw that the evil of humankind was great upon the earth, and every inclination of the thoughts of his heart, that's human heart, was always evil. And then in the green, and Yahweh said, I will destroy humankind, whom I created, from upon the face of the earth, from humankind to animals to creeping things, and the birds of heaven. And it says, and the earth was corrupted before God, and was filled with violence. Verse 12, and God saw the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted its way upon the earth. And God said to Noah, the end of all flesh has come before me, for the earth was filled with violence because of them. Now look, I am going to destroy them along with the earth. If we come back over here, it says, never again will I curse the ground for the sake of humankind, because the inclination of the heart of humankind is evil from his youth. If we come up here, it tells us that in the yellow here, and every inclination of the thoughts of his heart, humankind's heart, was always evil all the time. And so because humanity's heart was evil, because they have brought corruption onto the earth, and because the corruption is about to destroy the entire earth, God says, I am going to open up the floodgates of heaven. I'm going to take away my protection from the earth. And the chaos of uncreation is going to come in and wipe out all of humanity. But God says, at the end of the section, he says that because humanity's heart is always evil all the time, I will stop the corruption. I will stop humanity from destroying itself. Because if I do not step in and stop humanity from destroying itself, then what has happened in the past will happen again. And we cannot continue to wipe out humanity to protect the earth, because humanity is not going to stop being evil. So I'm going to have to hold back the chaos from coming in and destroying everything. And so this pattern here in chapter 6, chapter 7, chapter 8, is these ideas. And so I want to take a look at 7 here. And then Yahweh said to Noah, go, you and all your house, into the ark, for I have seen you are righteous before me in this generation. I'd already skipped over how Noah was righteous in his generation. He had found favor in his eyes, for he was righteous in his generation. That was back in 6. 7 here says, go into the ark. And then we get down here, and the earth was dry. I highlighted that because you get this theme throughout the Bible of chaos and God separating the waters. And when did God separate the waters? When he was creating the world. So the flood was a uncreation event. And so the waters have come in, and now God has once again separated the waters and made dry ground, brought the dry ground out of the waters. He is recreating the world, and you get this same type of imagery happening at the Exodus, where they have passed through the sea. What did God do? God separated the waters so they could walk through on dry ground. And the earth was dry, and God spoke to Noah, saying, go from the ark, you and your wife, your sons and your sons' wives, and bring all the animals with you. Just like he had said here, to take your entire family into the ark, and the animals with you. Now he says, go from the ark. So he's repeating these ideas so that you can see what is going on. That God wants humanity to continue, but he can't, if God does not step in, humanity will destroy itself. And so God says, never again will I curse the ground for the sake of humankind. So he has removed the curse of Adam from Genesis chapter 3, when God has kicked Adam out of the garden. He has removed that curse from the ground, because the inclination of the heart of humankind is evil from youth. The very reason why God brought the flood to begin with is the very reason why God says, I am not going to do that again, because it would need to happen again, and nothing will change. God is making a promise that he is going to bring about a change in humanity that will change their heart from being wicked and evil all the time to being a heart that is new. And you see this in Deuteronomy, where he says, circumcise your heart. And then you see this in Jeremiah and Ezekiel, where he says, I will take that heart of stone from you and give you a heart of flesh. That he is, because you might not know this, but the word heart and the word mind are the exact same word in Hebrew. There is no difference between heart and mind in Hebrew. We have a difference now in English language, and so that's why you have to pick one word or the other word, but they're the exact same in English. So when it says that his thoughts are evil all the time, the inclination of the heart of humankind is evil from his youth, the thoughts of his mind are evil all the time, that's the same thing. Thoughts of his mind, inclination of his heart, same word. And so God says, I'm going to take your heart and give you a heart of flesh. He is going to change humanity so that they are not evil all the time, thinking evil, doing evil, destroying their neighbors, being like animals, but instead are being made truly human by loving their neighbor as theirself. And so God says, never again will I destroy all life as I have done. And so then 22 is this promise that God's protection will keep the earth from the destruction of humanity. So when you take a look out there and you see these world wars and you say, oh no, that could destroy the entire earth. And God has promised that there may be regional areas in which all life is destroyed, but he has put his promise on the earth to separate those out so that they will not cover the entire world. Nor will I ever again destroy all life as I have done, as long as the earth endures. Seed and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night will not cease. Time will continue to go. Humans will continue to exist. Animals will continue to exist because God has given his promise, his covenant, that he will make sure that it happens. And then this covenant promise gets pulled into Deuteronomy and Ezekiel and Jeremiah, where God has made the promise that he will change our heart. That's what this is pointing to. This is not pointing to you getting your blessing. Right here. Sow your seed at the very bottom in the green. Right here underneath my picture. Sow your seed of his promise in the soil of your need. This is about you getting what you want. That is not what is happening in Genesis 8:22. This is God's promise that he is going to change humanity, that he is going to put in us a new heart, a heart of flesh, that he will continue to hold chaos at bay so that humanity can one day grow to be truly human. Why? Because their heart is continually wicked all the time, which means God, the only way to stop this is to change man's heart. That's what this promise is pointing to, not to your financial blessing.